Hello, and welcome to the Empowerography Podcast. This is a platform created for women's voices to be heard and a place to share their stories, journeys, and successes with the world for the purpose of helping other women who might be on similar journeys. We are empowering women one episode at a time. I'm your host, Brad Walsh, so kick back, grab one of your favorite beverages, and enjoy the stories. Hello, everyone. Brad Walsh here, your host of the Empowerography Podcast. Today, my guest is Sabeena Bubber. She is a mortgage professional with Ziva Mortgage. How are you doing today, Sabeena?
I'm doing fantastic, Brad. Thanks for having me today.
Excellent. Thanks for agreeing to be a guest and taking part in my podcast. It's nice to have you here. How's your day going so far, your morning?
It's fantastic. It's a beautiful cloudy day here in Vancouver. We have pretty normal for us.
Yeah.
Heavy rains and whatnot, but looking forward to the sun coming out again.
I'm sure it will. Yeah, it's pretty sunny here today. It's 31 degrees here today, so it's awesome. I love it. I love it. So you're a mortgage professional. You've been recognized as one of the top 75 brokers in Canada and 50th in the country. You've received multiple awards as a broker. You're a certified coach in neuro-linguistic programming, timeline therapy. You're also certified in hypnotherapy and a mother of two daughters. So that's quite the resume you have there. So can you tell me, what is neuro-linguistic programming?
Neuro-linguistic programming is a pseudoscientific approach to communication, personal development, and psychotherapy. There's techniques in neuro-linguistic programming that you learn that have been used by the CIA and the FBI in interrogation, although it's not what I use it for.
Are you sure?
Tony Robbins is actually certified in neuro-linguistic programming, as is Obama. So if you look at some of the great leaders in the world, they've all researched and taken it. It has helped them with their public speaking abilities.
Okay.
Also helped them with their communication approach. Also help in understanding how people think. So understanding what kind of learners they are, how they process information. Everybody processes information in different ways. Like some people can learn visually, some people learn information by hearing it, and other people learn it kinesthetically. So there's various different aspects to neurolinguistic programming that help you to understand how different people think.
So has this helped you in your career as a mortgage professional?
It has helped me in my career as a mortgage professional, and it actually most helped me in understanding myself, understanding the unconscious mind and how it affects our outcomes.
Excellent. So hypnotherapy as well. Why and when did you get certified as a hypnotherapist? So
the hypnotherapy was part of the neurolinguistic programming coaching that I did. So I became a practitioner coach in the neurolinguistic programming, and part of that process was getting certified in hypnotherapy and timeline therapy as well. And it was all part of the course that I took.
Excellent. And do you use any of that, your skills with that?
I use the timeline therapy on myself, which is a form of hypnosis, but I don't use it on other people necessarily. I've used it for my own purposes. The purpose of taking it was for my own development.
Right.
But I think that I would like to expand into doing that to help other people as well.
Awesome. Now, you've also had a very successful career in consumer finance. What did you do in that world, and for how long, and why did you decide to leave that world behind you?
That was back in the day. I started working with high interest loans, working with credit card type companies, and that was basically my start in my credit career, so to speak. And I was there for about 5 years, and I found it really educational in terms of understanding how credit works, how people think in terms of cost, and how to help people to improve their financial situations. I did ultimately leave that world. I was living in Saskatchewan at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And my dream was to move out to the West Coast, and I did that with that job, but then soon moved on into the mortgage underwriting role after that, where I learned to underwrite private mortgages here in BC, and then moved on to being a mortgage broker from there. So it was all transitional in terms of being in that credit and underwriting, and understanding the back end of how lenders work really has helped me in my career as a mortgage broker.
That's what I was going to say. That must have come in quite handy, your career in consumer finance, to transition over as a mortgage broker.
Yes, it really was. One of my clients, actually, when I was a mortgage underwriter on the private lending side, actually approached me and said that he felt I was on the wrong side of the desk, because although I understood credit, I understood relationships as well. And I guess at the time considered to be very salesy. So he said, "You're on the wrong side of the desk. You should become a mortgage broker." So I actually cut my teeth working as a mortgage specialist at RBC, which actually helped me a lot in understanding how the chartered banks work and the mentality behind the big six, which was a really good transition coming into becoming a mortgage broker, because I can really speak to what we were required to provide to our clients as bank employees versus what I recommend to my clients as a mortgage broker. So I'm not working for an institution that's expecting me to sell certain products and provide certain services and say things that may or may not be in the client's best interest, or maybe in the shareholders' best interest. I feel like making the transition to the mortgage broker made a lot more sense to me, so I could provide the right advice to my clients. And when further advice was required, I could refer my clients to the proper professionals that would provide independent advice to them.
So why the decision then to get into that whole area and become a mortgage broker, leaving consumer finance? Why did you decide to go that route as opposed to something else?
I realized that my role, or how I approached my, and I say quote unquote sales, is that I loved the relationship aspect of what I was doing. So the people that I was meeting and the relationships that I was building in consumer finance. But as a mortgage specialist, say with RBC, once that client got their mortgage, they would then be handled by the branch, and I would no longer have that relationship with them. So any advice that I had given them could then possibly be changed when they're dealing with somebody at the branch. So there wasn't the ability to provide ongoing support to consumers. So becoming a mortgage broker allowed me the ability to establish relationships and long-term relationships where I could be a support to my clients and be a part of their lives, not just a part of a transaction. And so that when they need advice down the road, that I could say, well, based on everything that I know about you and your family, these are my recommendations. And that became it's become a long-term relationship for me. And I enjoy it because I've become part of my clients' lives. I've been invited to their family events. I, involved on a personal level with a lot of people that I do business with, because it becomes more of a friendship over time than it's just a transaction where you're dealing with somebody for a few months and then you move on.
Yeah, well, I would say that I would assume that being a mortgage professional, it's about the relationship and being able to relate to people and help people. So forged relationships are incredibly important.
Yes. And I have people that followed me from RBC into becoming a mortgage broker. So I have people I've been working with for 20 years and working now with their children as their children go on to buy homes. And it really is rewarding when you get that call saying, hey, my son and his soon-to-be wife are about to buy a place and I'd like you to help them. And I remember them when, oh gosh, this goes to say how old I am. I remember when those kids were younger
Yeah.
and in middle school and high school, and here I am helping them buy their first home. That's a really rewarding thing to be involved in when you feel like you're part of the family structure in a way.
I would imagine it would be. So what is it that excites you most about being a mortgage broker, would you say?
Well, definitely the relationships that I've
Mm-hmm.
established over the years,
Yeah.
and just being part. I mean, when people are buying real estate or refinancing their homes, it's about helping them to find better ways to structure their finances and helping them to make big decisions. I think as Canadians, we are not necessarily given the financial literacy tools that we should have had in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we become adults and we have our big girl pants on and our big boy pants on, we're expected to make these financial decisions without really truly understanding that it's more than just the rate you pay.
Mm-hmm.
And the misconception is that, mortgage brokers are just all about rate and it's about the lowest rate I pay, but it really comes down to cost. So the thing that excites me about being a mortgage broker is providing the right solutions for my clients and helping them to understand that there is a difference between rate and product and cost. And there's a high chance that they will pay a penalty on their mortgage or something along those lines. 67% chance that they'll pay a penalty. So making sure that I am there for them and that they are prepared for the things they don't expect when they start shopping for a mortgage. So I really enjoy being part of educating my clients.
And again, it's all based in establishing those relationships and establishing that trust with your clients. Yes. So yeah,
trust is a huge factor.
For sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what would you say has been the highlight of your career so far as a mortgage broker, mortgage professional?
That, what's interesting is that was a hard one to answer. I don't know. I think, we think I'm always been if I can achieve this, then I'm successful. But I realize that we never really achieve success. We're always, as entrepreneurs, we're always moving towards a measurement of success.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we achieve that measurement, we just change the bar and now we set a new measurement.
Yeah.
So what are my highlights? I think my highlights probably are less around mortgage brokering, but more around the community service.
Yeah.
So the establishing the 100 brokers, I think that we'll talk about at some point, but, so that's been a highlight for me, and, being recognized as, a woman of influence and various other things. I thought the recognition would have, more weight for me, but really, at home, I'm just mom and they don't really care.
Well, they're teenagers, right?
Yes.
I think probably when they're a bit older, into their adult years, these are things that they would appreciate. As teenagers, just like, okay, well, mom's just mom, and
mom's just mom. Yeah. But that being said, my kids do have. I have teenagers who, my teenage daughters, fortunately, do show a lot of respect for how hard I work for them, and they see that, and I have good relationships despite the fact that they're teenagers.
Yes, those formative years are very tough as parents.
Yes.
So speaking of being recognized as a woman of influence, you've been recognized multiple times in your industry, which is a distinction only handed out to a select few women. So how did that feel for you? And do you remember the moment you found out and where you were when you found out the first time you were nominated or recognized?
Yeah, the first time that I was recognized, I was in my office in West Vancouver, and I was elated. It's a hard recognition to achieve, and to be recognized for my work, not only as a mortgage broker, but also as a mentor and the various other things that I've done to contribute to the mortgage industry. It really meant a lot to me to receive that recognition.
Oh, congratulations. It's amazing. You should
Thank
be
you.
very proud and pat yourself on the back for that one.
Thank you.
Now, you touched on 100 Brokers. You mentioned that. So you're the founder of this organization called 100brokers.org. Can you tell us a bit about what the organization's all about, what you do, all that stuff?
So 100 Brokers is like, I don't know if you've heard of the organizations like 100 women and 100 men from Kelowna, 100 Black men out of the U.S. There's various organizations like that where their memberships of 100 people who donate $100 a quarter, and they contribute to charities that they select. And in these other offshoot groups, it's usually a networking event. 100brokers.org is different in that it's now more like hundreds of brokers across Canada, because we're now at 150 members across Canada and growing by the day.
Wow.
We contribute $100 a quarter, and how we do it is virtually. So we have a website. We each have a landing page on that website, and each member is able to nominate a cause or a charity that they would see that they would like to receive funds. And so what happens is we do that nomination, then the board will narrow down the nominations because we can get a substantial number of nominations, and then a final vote is done. So this last quarter, we narrowed it down to 3 finalists, and the top votes received $10,000, and then the other two nominations received $2,500 each. So
Amazing.
That way, and it actually turned out that it wasn't direct charities that are receiving the funds. These are families that have had circumstances hit upon them that we've been able to help them in their circumstances. So our recipient this month is actually a mortgage broker out of Langley, BC, who was in who basically had an accident when he was playing hockey, and it actually triggered something else, and he ended up in a coma, having paralysis and that kind of thing. So,
gosh.
We were able to help him with some money that they needed to do some work to the house to be able to get him in and out of the house in a wheelchair. So, so it's different every month in terms of, or in every quarter in terms of funds that are received. But yeah, we've helped out some families with young kids that have cancer, various other things, families that have been hit with cancer twice, various members of the family. And it's been, every single vote we have is quite moving. It's very hard to make a decision on who we should vote for. Yeah. Because there's so many people that need it.
Now, the ones that you don't vote for, do they get put forward to the next quarter, or you just get a whole bunch of new options?
That's a great question. Yes, we do have the option to carry forward. So sometimes there is an ongoing need for some of these families or charities, so they do get renominated, and sometimes they get selected and sometimes they don't. But yes,
awesome.
Absolutely.
Now, I thought you mentioned something about events that you do with this as well. Do you hold events for this?
No, actually we don't, because we are a national organization. It's very difficult to have events. So most of the work that we do is online, and then we do it through social media. We do have a national conference where we may hold like just a small get together, but our national conference has been, I expect, will be canceled on account of COVID. So.
Yes. Maybe looking forward, that's something that you can resume.
Yes.
So what made you decide to start this organization? Like, what was the inspiration behind starting 100brokers.org?
In 2016, I was 25. Sorry, I always forget the year. If it was 2015 or I think it was 2015. In 2015, a friend of mine, her daughter, was killed tragically in an accident off of Gambier Island, where her and her father perished in a drowning.
Oh my gosh.
And my girlfriend it was her ex-husband, and when her ex-husband and child passed away, she was left with the funeral costs. She was single, self-employed, so she basically left with no means of support at that point as well. And so I started a GoFundMe page.
Okay.
And when I was doing that, I was, reaching out on social media, and I was able to generate, $7,000 in donations from the mortgage brokerage community across Canada. And we didn't have to have the GoFundMe page for very, very long, because I think we were able to raise $35,000 in a matter of weeks.
Wow, that's incredible.
And I looked at that and I thought, you know what? Like, I was really moved by the amount of mortgage brokers across Canada that really stepped up, that didn't know my friend, that were doing it because they heard the story in the news, and because they knew me and they knew that it was something that affected me. And I thought, you know what? If this is something that people would be willing to step up for me, who else do all these mortgage brokers know, or other mortgage brokers know, of families and people in need that we could maybe help? And that's where the idea of 100 Brokers grew.
I love it.
We had a lot of growing pains in the beginning, I'm not going to lie. Getting membership, dealing with payment systems and whatnot was super challenging in the beginning. But we've since got a payment portal system up. We've now got various systems in place, and our membership has been growing a lot. We actually grew our membership from 100 to 150 in the last year.
Wow, good for you.
Our payment system has been streamlined, and now we're definitely on the roll. And
awesome.
We have lenders and representatives that are getting the word out for us as well. So it's not just up to me to get it out anymore, which is really nice. A lot of people are standing behind it.
Well, I mean, it's a business, so there's always going to be growing pains and learning curves, and it's just another thing. But you've ironed them out in 5 years? This has been going now, right? So that's amazing. Amazing. And I'm really, good on you.
I'm really grateful to all the people that have helped me push this through along the way. So a lot of people see it as I am the founder. However, I could not have done it without the people that stand next to me. So the board of directors that I've had for the last few years have had a significant contribution for me as well. A lot of brokers that are members that have done their part in helping out as well. So it's not just a single effort. It's definitely a combined effort.
Yeah, a community effort for sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
What excites you most about being an entrepreneur?
Change. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember when I first started in my first job after university in consumer finance. And I remember seeing this quote that said, if you want things to stay the same, then something is going to have to change.
I like that. I love it. That's
that has kind of been a definition. So anytime something changes, you have a choice to sit there and complain about it, or be stuck in the fact that things are not going to stay the same. Or if you embrace that change and get behind that change and find a way to adapt to change, it gives you the opportunity to grow.
I love that quote. If you want things to stay the same, they're going to have to change. That's awesome. If you could go back, would you change anything about how you did things?
Oh, that's a hard question. Maybe in my personal life, yes. Not in my business life. No, I probably would have, this is a tough one to say out loud and be vulnerable in this moment, but I probably would have left my marriage earlier. That's about it. That's a big one to put out there.
Oh, absolutely. Of course it is. Of course it is. No, that's fine. That's very brave of you to put it out there. So thank you for sharing that. To date then, what would you say is your biggest high or your greatest win?
Oh, definitely my daughters.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not about career. It's about life. And the greatest... My biggest high is the time I spend with them, and when we're happy and enjoying life together. And my greatest win is that I have such a solid relationship with them. They are amazing young women, and I wish that, I admire them for who they've become already. and for the girls that they are, and how they think, and the things that they teach me along the way.
Well, that's in part, obviously, because of you. I mean, it's not easy being a single parent and raising kids. So, yes, your marriage split and you had to raise the girls. So you should be giving yourself a pat on the back for the job that you've done and the good that you've done for your daughters too.
Thank you. Thank you. And I think that it's still like, even though I'm a single parent, they do have two parents. And I think that living in two different homes has been an experience for them in learning diversity. And I think that seeing how different both of their parents are is actually a gift for them as well. And that life doesn't always go the way you plan it to, but sometimes there's a good reason for that. And I think that has helped to define some of their choices. And I think that they're different, better children because of it. And I think the misperception is that if you stay together, that it's better for the children. And in this case, I think in a lot of cases it's better, especially for girls, for them to see that they do have choice and they do have options, and it can be good. It can be good for families.
I honestly think, because I come from a split family as well, it is the absolute, in my opinion anyways, I'm just talking here about me, but it is the absolute worst thing you could ever do is stay together for the kids, because they don't need to grow up in a tense, volatile environment where there's arguing and the parents aren't getting along. It does more damage than good. It's better to split and know that they are still loved by both parents, and that they can go to their fathers and they can be at their mothers. And the choice is a much better thing, I think, just even from my experience.
And that's a common thing that I've heard.
Me too.
And I'm not going to lie, I definitely did my research before making the choice. So I spoke to a lot of people who were adults that had the parents that had split up when they were younger, and how that affected them, and what their thoughts were on it. And also talking to adults whose parents had split up after they had left the home, and how it would affect them. So, it was a right decision.
Well, I mean, when it happens when they're young, kids are resilient, and they'll bounce back, and yes, they'll be hurt and they'll be upset. There'll be tons of questions, but as long as they know that both parents still love them and it's nothing to do with them.
That's the most important part.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As long as that's ingrained and drilled into the kids, then they'll turn out fine. It's just, it's better that way, in my opinion.
Yes,
for sure.
I agree.
What do you think your unique skill set or superpower is that's helped you become so successful?
Building authentic relationships.
I love that answer. I love it.
So sincerity, caring, and coming from the heart on whatever I do. So thinking about treating people the way I want to be treated, and being sincere and authentic in that way.
Beautiful. What profession, other than the one you're currently in, would you like to attempt?
That's easy. Family law.
That's a given, right?
So one of my experiences through all of this has been, it took me a while to get divorced. And in fact, it never seems to end, actually. So even though I've been divorced for a couple of years, we're back at it again in other ways with our lawyers. And when I look at the family law process and that whole environment, it can be a very negative environment. It can be good for people. So through my practice, what I've done is move towards supporting women and men through their separation and divorce, and helping to consult with them as they go into that process. So I've been working with a lot of family lawyers to help their clients to deal with their finances before they actually pen the separation agreement. And so having been more and more involved in the process, I feel more passionate about it because I'm working with more people that are separating and supporting them through that. So if there was another career I'd be passionate about, it'd definitely be the family law. It's just helping support people through what is the most incredibly difficult time of their lives. It is a very difficult thing to go through.
Absolutely. Let's tone things down from business and all this seriousness. Let's ask a few simple questions just to get to know a bit about you. What's a passion of yours that you rarely share with people, and why not?
I like to meditate.
Okay.
Meditation and journaling, movement. It's my quiet time, my peaceful time. It helps me to reflect. It helps me to think about, or maybe not think about, what's getting in my way of getting where I want, but just disconnecting.
Okay. If you could sit and have a 1-hour conversation with any person in the world, alive or dead, who would it be and why?
Wayne Dyer.
Wayne Dyer. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Out of all of the self-improvement that I've read and listened to over the last number of years, Wayne has resonated the most with me. And I love listening to his voice, and I love listening to his podcasts, and I hear how much he has helped so many people over the years with their, with just helping them to achieve where they want to go. And I would love to have even just an hour with him to just listen to what he has to say.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. What makes you feel inspired or like your best self?
Definitely my daughters.
Your daughters?
Not to try and use them as an excuse for every answer on this list.
That's okay.
But I feel like it's really important to me to be a good role model to them. And I feel inspired to be my best self, because if I want to show them that I can put my best foot forward always, and that they can too, and that they can do whatever they put their mind to.
Absolutely. And it's important to put those values into our kids at a very young age, so it gets ingrained into their heads and they live it as they grow up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, when we think about when you talk about even just your code of ethics, when you talk about, when you ask yourself a hard question, like, should I do this, or should I do that, or should I not? It's like, if I had to answer to my children or to my father or something like that, would it still be something I wanted to do? So I kind of try to frame myself as, if I'm inspired to do something, is this something I would want to show my daughters that I'm doing or not?
Right. Mm-hmm. I like that. Who would you say are the 3 people that have been most influential in your life?
My father, my mother, and my best friend, Louisa.
Okay. How would you like to be remembered?
Someone who made a positive and lasting difference in the lives of other people.
I love it. Very simple and to the point. If you had 24 hours left on Earth, what would you do?
I'd spend it with my family. That's a simple one.
Yeah. If you had a dinner party and had to invite a musician, a politician, a famous couple, and a family member, who would you invite?
I would invite Bono. I would invite Obama. And a famous couple. I'm kind of torn between the Clintons and the Beckhams. And I know that they have nothing to do, and I'm not a very political person, but I think both would have, I think the Beckhams, because they've just created so much empire around themselves, and they also have a very strong family as well in the same regards, probably the Beckhams. Okay. And then as far as my family member, I'd have to pluralize that and say I'd of course want to bring my daughters.
Yes,
any influence that I could express on them by having them meet these amazing people would be fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. What's the most important thing you've learned in your life? And what was your life like before learning it? And what was your life like after learning it?
Work to live, not live to work.
Okay.
So I would say that I spent probably the first half of my life just trying to prove myself and that I was worthy and that I could be successful, and that I was a certified workaholic, and that's how I built my business. But in doing so, I lost myself. I lost who I was. I had no real purpose. And now that I work to live, I enjoy life so much more, and I'm still achieving the same level of success, but I'm enjoying my life so much
Awesome.
more.
That's so important. We only get one go around, so do your best to enjoy it, right?
I have a huge bucket list, and I love taking things off it now.
There you go. Lists are always great for being able to check things off. I love being able to do that.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing what you can create even when you just write it down. When I wrote my bucket list, and was shortly after my divorce, and I was in a relationship for 27 years. So I really had no identity of who Sabeena Bubber is.
Yeah.
And so I had to write this list of things I wanted to achieve because I didn't know who am I? Like, what do I want and what do I want to do in my life? I really didn't know. So I started with this list. And about 14 months after I wrote that list, I had taken 18 things off it. And of those 18 things, I would say 75% of it were things that did not exist as even remote possibilities at the time I wrote the list.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible. I love it.
So it's the power of manifesting things in your life.
For sure. For sure. What does the word empowerment mean to you, and what do you do to teach your daughters about empowerment?
Empowerment for me means using my voice, having a sense of self, and self-awareness and self-care. And voice is the big one, is being able to speak, not necessarily speak negatively, but just speak positively in a way of creating things that are good.
Excellent.
Or for good. For the good.
Yeah, for good. Yeah. How do you define success? What does that word mean to you?
It's not just about achieving targets and numbers, and it's not just about achievement. I believe that success is about balance. And balance is such a terrible word because us as women have no balance. We're juggling everything. We're juggling family, career, self-care. There's friends, everything. And so success is finding a way to create a sense of self in that, and just not feeling overwhelmed and all of that, and enjoyment.
Awesome. How would you describe yourself in one word?
Passionate.
What is one of your favorite quotes?
I'm glad you asked this one.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked.
My friend gave me this a year before, I would say a year, 2 years before I separated. And I still have this next to my desk because this quote has evolved in what it means to me over the years. And every year it means something different. And it's a quote by Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we're liberated from our fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
I love it. Wow, that's a long one.
Probably
great,
more
though.
than you were expecting. Yeah,
Yes.
But
it's great, though. I love it.
Yeah, it's had a huge impact on my life. And when I first read it, I honestly didn't get it. Mm-hmm. And then a year later, I was like, oh my gosh.
The light bulb went off.
The light bulb went off. I had kept it next to my desk for that whole year. And then one day I just looked up and went, oh, I get it now.
It all makes sense.
It all makes sense now.
I love it. That's awesome. So good. Thank you for sharing that quote. That's beautiful. And lastly, to what extent do you shape your own destiny, and how much is up to fate?
I don't believe in fate.
Okay.
I think we create our results, good or bad. And I believe that what we think is what we create. So whether it's negative or positive, it is what we get. So if we focus on, I don't want this to happen, it will happen. Or if we focus on, I want this to happen, then that will happen. And I believe that we create our own results, that there isn't fate.
Awesome. Okay. Well, Sabeena, thank you so much for being a guest today and sharing your insights and sharing a bit of your journey and your story. And it's been amazing chatting with you. I really appreciate you being here as a guest and sharing your story. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you today.
Thank you so much, Brad. I really enjoyed it. Good.
See, it wasn't so bad, was it? I told you, it's just like a conversation between two friends. It's okay. Yes. It's all good. You did very well. You should be proud of yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back.
Thank you.
Once again, my name is Brad Walsh, host of your Empowerography podcast. My guest today has been Sabeena Bubber. She is a mortgage professional with Ziva Mortgage. Thank you again, Sabeena, so much, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you, Brad.
Talk soon.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Thank you very much for listening to this podcast. If you haven't yet, please be sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share with all your friends. You can find me at visuphoria.ca and follow me on Instagram at Empowerography Podcast and on Facebook at Empowerography. Please join me next time for another inspirational story from yet another amazing woman.